Our law enforcement agencies are more effective and vigilant than ever. We have taken out tens of thousands of terrorists, including bin Laden. The global coalition we're leading against ISIL has taken out their leaders and taken away about half their territory. ISIL will be destroyed.
Joining us right now is the former German Minister of Defense and Economics under Chancellor Angela Merkel, KT Guttenberg. KT, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
What was your take on those comments? Do you believe Obama's efforts against terrorist organizations have been successful?
There has been some success, definitely. The criticism I have is that I haven't seen any concerted effort to really unite the international community. There's a lot of undermining still going on. There's no clear attachment between European efforts, U.S. efforts. You see some intelligence cooperation, but that could be better. And there's a lot of mistrust that has been grown over the last couple of years. So yes, we've seen a couple of success stories. We have seen Osama bin Laden being taken out, but is there a wider concept of how the Middle East will look like in the next years to come? Was there a follow-up after his infamous Cairo speech? Is there anything that goes a little deeper than just ad hoc measures? I don't think so.
And this coming from someone who has seen firsthand what took place in Germany when Angela Merkel opened the doors to immigrants and in particular refugees and saw a lot of terrorist attacks after.
Right, and it would be too easy to blame Obama for that, because that's also failure of European efforts. So Europe is not united enough. Europe has never established a common foreign and security policy to actually tackle these dangers properly.
I was going to ask you, it seems just within the European Union there's a lot of disagreement on how to tackle ISIS, migration. And so to have a collaborative approach probably has to start within the EU. And then I agree, NATO just has to do a much better job on figuring out how they want to attack migration and ISIS.
Right. NATO has to reform itself also quite substantially to come closer to these new threats we are facing right now, and these kind of asymmetric threats. But you have a point. Europe is a conglomerate of 28, probably 27 in the near future, member states with very, very distinct and sole convictions.
Right. Isn't one of the issues, though, is that the assimilation of the immigrants, and one of the problems in France is that a lot of the attackers and attacks that have happened were people from poverty-stricken areas where they weren't assimilated in. Is that the situation, that dynamic that's playing in Germany right now?
They will not assimilate.
Yes.
Well, that's the biggest task for Germany. So we have taken approximately 1 million in the year 2015, 800,000 to 1 million refugees, and another 260,000 last year. That's a number we have heard this morning from Germany. Yeah. So to assimilate them and to integrate them is a task for the next decades to come. That's nothing that can be resolved in 1 or 2 or 3 years. And so it's not as easy, or not that easy, just to say, well, it has been an easy task for refugees or for terrorists to merge with the refugees, to come in and then to launch attacks. There are a lot that are being influenced that have been moved, that moved to Germany already like 5 or 6 or 7 years ago. So we have homegrown terrorism as well in Europe.
Well, also it's state-sponsored multiculturalism has been a huge problem in Britain and in France. The United States does not have that problem because we view assimilation quite differently in this country. Could it be a problem?
That's an important point, because many try to draw an analogy and say, why don't you act the same way? So your culture is entirely different. You are a country grown out of immigration. And that's something Europe has never understood to somehow transmit it into these new times. So, and that's one of the reasons why we have the surge and the rise of populism, of nationalism now in Europe as well.
And yet you still let in a million refugees.
Oh yeah.
If you were back working for
Angela Merkel,
what would you recommend to do with Syria?
No pressure.
No pressure.
Because it all starts there.
So it all starts there, but it doesn't end there.
Right.
And the point is, if we focus solely on one country in the region, we already fail. We have to see the interconnections and the interdependencies of all players involved there. And we're talking about actually a question that reaches from Mali all the way to Indonesia. We're talking about a question of how do countries with a Muslim majority actually integrate into the wider global questions we are facing right now. And we're talking about also the question of whether Europe is willing to take the responsibility by itself and not only leave the dirty work to the U.S.
Well, what
That's
about that?
not
Because
enough.
Germany right now says that it is toughening its rules in response to the Berlin Christmas attack. This includes extending how long suspects can be detained, making extremists wear electronic ankle monitors. This coming as the number of asylum seekers in Germany decreased by 1/3 last year. What do you think about these security measures?
They're necessary, and
is it enough?
It will never be enough because you will never catch everyone. And so you will always see accusations that you have not done everything. But on the other hand, you'll not succeed in Germany by pressing through whatever you would like to see at the end of the day. We have a very liberal society there, and the people are reluctant to actually accept all of these.
How do you think Germany's looking at what the UK's doing with, you know, kind of putting barriers with passports and the lack of open entry now?
But this is nothing we can actually adapt to Germany, because we are not surrounded by the sea. We are surrounded by open borders, and even if we try to close the European borders, there's always a way into Europe, and we will remain to be the magnet for those who see their future actually somehow more prosperous anywhere else than